I awakened this morning with a stuffed left eustachian tube, headache, which actually started yesterday, and itchy spots on my legs. This is especially bad right here. See that? Oh, that itches like crazy. I put cortisone cream on that, and it's helping only a little bit, but I'm not going to scratch. I did scratch it. I'm going to stop scratching it because I don't want to irritate it. Um, you can also see I'm developing some six-pack abs here. Like my Jesus. He's a supreme example. He has six-pack abs, by the way. Here, there's an itchy spot on this side too. It's right there. Oh, that itches. Um, okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is, you know what I think is happening? When I had a headache, a slight headache yesterday. When I went for my walk, um, right in the middle of the walk, these itchy spots showed up on my legs. Maybe they were there all along and I didn't notice it, but I felt them and I looked down and why am I itching? It's like a mosquito's biting me, but there's no mosquitoes. Actually, every now and then I get these red spots on my legs, and what they're caused by yeast, living yeast in. It's a yeast pocket. What's happening is the seroquel, as I walk, the seroquel is spreading through my blood because the aerobic exercises causes the blood to circulate better, so the seroquel is better able to reach some spots in my body that it couldn't reach if I wasn't exercising. And the yeast are running away from the seroquel and finding pockets in my body where they feel they're safe and where the seroquel can't get them. So that's what those itchy spots are. It means that I'm somehow getting yeast in my body, and I believe it's through an inhalant. I've written my men about this. I think the Jesuits dropped a yeast bomb, which may explain why I got worse on my walk because I was inhaling the yeast. So I think the Jesuits are doing this because they want to discourage me from my walks, thinking, you don't want to go on your walk because that makes you inhale our yeast in the air. But Jesus is putting something in the air too, so I need to keep going. If I wasn't vacuuming, dusting, to showering every day, I always shower when I come back from my walks, it would be much worse. I would have the yeast all over my body, all over my apartment, and other allergens, and I would just be feeling yuck. So, and I wouldn't be able to breathe. I'd get asthma symptoms. So, by obeying the Gail commandments, I'm still suffering, but it would be much worse if I was not obeying the Gail commandments. In fact, if I wasn't taking Seroquel, the yeast toxin would probably take over my entire nervous system, and I'd be doing some crazy things because then Zach and I would have total brain control. So I'm just saying that when you follow the Gail commandments, things aren't always perfect, but they're better than they would be if you weren't following the Gail commandments. Those are my walking shoes in the background, by the way. I keep them there to let everybody know that I'm honoring Jesus's. They're New Balance shoes. They're actually anointed shoes. I can kick Zach Knight with them, and if he's in this apartment, I can locate him using those shoes. That's what my men have told me. He's been kind of avoiding me lately. I think he's too busy fighting the Gale Shield. Apparently, he's dropped some yeast bombs around here, and that's why I had these strange symptoms like, I can't hear anything out of this side of my ear. The eustachian tube is just stuffed. Um, so another thing I do is I cut my own hair, and I'm kind of like Johnny Erickson Tata in that her handicap was she's a quadriplegic. Though I've heard brain to brain, she might have been miraculously healed because she believes she's a member of John MacArthur's church, and his church, I hear, has joined our church, Gail. And I think a miraculous healing happened with her. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be a false communication, brain to brain. But that would be awesome if it was true. Like Johnny Erickson Tata, I have learned how to cut my own. She had to learn how to draw and write using a pencil in her mouth because she's a quadriplegic. And I'm amazed she's like produced a book a year over the past 20 years. She's amazingly productive in spite of her handicaps, and I'm kind of like in the same boat. Jesuits have cut off all my income just about, except for a few sources. So I basically have like missionaries' income. And as a result, Jesus has said, you can't afford a beautician. He doesn't even let me go to the dentist. He says, unfortunately, the dental profession has been taken over by Jesuits. He said, as long as you keep your teeth clean, Gail, you don't need to go to the dentist twice a year like the Jesuits recommend. I do have Sonicare electric toothbrush, which I use religiously every day. And I also have my own little scraper that I used to go in there and clean out tartar. Um, and I use Plaque's rinse. So my dental regimen is that I use Sonicare electric toothbrush every day, and I try to replace the brush head every 3 months to make sure it's working good. And I floss every day with unwaxed dental floss, and I brush at least twice a day. I try to brush after all my meals, and I brush my tongue too, so I keep my mouth clean. That's also part of the Gail commandments. And Jesus said, as long as you do that, Gail, you don't need to see the dentist. Now, I do have, you can see it, recession. I did have really bad, I had periodontal disease in 1992. When I was working on law, I didn't take care of my teeth properly. I was so busy trying to get that thing written before my husband came back from his Coast Guard deployment that I neglected my teeth. And ever since then, I had to go to a periodontist, and he did root scaling and planing, numbed out all 4 quadrants and cleaned it out. He's the one who got me started on the Sonicare electric toothbrush, and I've been on it ever since. And I floss every day, because if not, I don't want to have to end up. Well, first of all, I don't have to go to the dentist, I think, if I take care of my teeth. So my teeth feel fine, but then I'm very diligent about cleaning them. I got turned off to the dentist because in 2013, my dentist told me that I had a big cavity underneath this crown, and that I needed to put in an implant, which would have cost me like $2,000 or $3,000 just for that one tooth. And I was kind of upset because I don't have much money, and my dental insurance wouldn't have covered it. And Jesus said, Gail, I didn't want you to go to that dentist. That's why I gave you flat tire the day that you were supposed to go to your dentist. He said, no, you don't go to the dentist anymore. He said, just keep your teeth clean and you're going to be fine. So that's what I'm doing. And guess what? That big cavity that he said I had in 2013 hasn't done a thing. I'm fine. Every now and then I get some gum swelling in that area, and that's yeast. That's it. Jesus said sometimes you get a minor yeast infection in that tooth. And he said that's nothing the dentist can fix. So you just keep obeying the Gail commandments. So I'm just letting you know how I do my life. And he said, I can't cut my hair. So I've been watching videos on how to cut hair, and then just kind of using common sense, studying my head to determine why my haircut hasn't been working. I've determined I'm starting to look better now than I did when I went to a beautician, because I'm learning how to cut my own hair, some techniques I'm learning. To get the back, it's a guessing game here, but I usually have a mirror that I hold like this, and then I just learn how to cut. This I usually just eyeball. The bottom I usually just eyeball, but I am doing layering. Layering, you go vertical. Another technique I've learned for layering is point cutting. That seems to make the layers more blended. But I'm studying my hair. This part, but I'm still fixing mistakes from when I first started cutting my hair in December. This part here is too short. So what's happening is this is too long, this is too short, and I need to blend these two, and I'm planning on doing that over the next year. So I'm going to let this grow, and then when this grows out, I'll cut it and try to get it to blend with this, which is all this area here, too short. I've given myself some side bangs because I look good, but my bangs tend to be uneven. A technique that I've learned for making the bangs even is just pull up this part right up here, and then just cut straight across. Just cut straight across. It's pretty even right now, so I can live with that. Then once I cut straight across, I establish my line on both sides, and then I work on layering evenly, I'll pull it out vertical and make sure that everything blends. And if you watch videos on hair cutting, you can learn how to do all this stuff. So I'm learning how to obey Jesus' commands, and like Johnny Erickson, who learned how to draw and write using her pencil, I'm learning how to cut my hair, even though I can't always see the back, and learning special techniques that I can use to make my hair look good, even though I cut my own hair and I'm not a beautician. I'm learning some beautician skills. There are a lot of videos made by beauticians. Oh my goodness. Anyways, come on, Lord, get that hair to go down. I hadn't done anything with my hair. I didn't blow dry anything. This is natural dry. When I blow dry, I tend to go like this. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. If you watch, when you obey Jesus, he shows you what you need to do. Another thing, this side's a little shorter. This side's a little shorter than this side, and that's because I need to let this grow out. When this grows out, then I can afford to make this grow longer. So I'm working on letting this here grow out. This needs to grow out, and then I'm going to blend it all. So that's what I'm doing. This is actually a very good style for my clothing personality. So that's why, in spite of my boo-boos, it still looks pretty good on me, though I'm getting better. Today, this side looks longer than this side. Maybe it's because it is. I don't know. But the little uneven doesn't look too bad on me as long. So, another thing, I'm following myfitnesspal.com, which is what Jesus recommended for me, calories in, calories out. The only thing is, and what I do for exercise, I do about a half an hour to 40 minutes on this with the windows open. Then I do some waist exercises. And as you can see, I've developed a little bit of female six-pack abs here. Waist exercises. And then I do some upper arm exercises, just real easy ones. And I'll have a link for my exercise routine for my waist and my upper arms. And then I do facelift exercises, Carolyn's Facial Fitness, because of copyright. This is her program and she sells it. I'm not going to show you the video on that. You can order it from her. She has a $70 version and a $35 version. People have been saying I look younger because of my haircut, and that's part of it, but it's also because I'm doing the facelift exercises regularly. And I've never done them regularly until I started following the Gail commandments, which for some reason just made me more disciplined in every area of my life. Though at night, I can't stand being hungry, and I pig out on strawberries, which is a low-calorie fruit with non-fat sour cream, and I eat honey roasted peanuts. But I serve them in like 2 tablespoon increments so that I give myself a small serving on purpose so that I don't eat too many of the nuts. My body actually likes the nuts. They're very nutritious. And Jesus gave me a Christmas present from my men with honey roasted peanuts and strawberry preserve. So that's kind of like, is Jesus giving me a hint about what I should be eating? Though I haven't touched the strawberry preserves yet. He also gave me some crackers with cheese. And I've noticed since I've started eating milk, I avoided dairy for a while because I thought they were giving me leg cramps. My teeth are filling out. Look at that. They're getting more white too. I'm not imagining things. Apparently I was a little calcium deficient. So now that I'm eating more balanced, I'm looking healthier. You say, well, why are you showing off your body? Well, let's just put it this way. Jesus Christ, who is our supreme example, has six-pack abs. So my men have caught him eating potato chips and ice cream and all sorts of stuff. So he's not a health nut, but he is about balance. And so I've noticed. So anyways, and my waist measurements right now about 25, 26 in the morning. Hips 36.5, which I like, by the way. It's muscle back here, muscle from walking. And then the bust measurements are going down a bit, which I kind of like because I didn't like being so big busted that I looked, like an overweight woman. So it's going down a little bit. 35. It used to be 36, so I've lost about an inch at the bust line, which is fine with me. My busts are fine. So this is all from following the Gail commands. We've had setbacks, and I got to go shopping today, and I have to go outside and deal with all that yeast in the air, but it could be much worse. So this is what I do. I think part of the reason Jesuits are putting yeast in the air is they don't want me to go outside and obey Jesus, but it didn't go to work. I'm going to continue doing it. It would be worse if I wasn't obeying Jesus. So this is, I am Jesus Christ's favorite. I also try to make it believable that I've got men like Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, Gerard Butler on my marriage list. So I try to keep myself looking nice for the guys.